In 2006, MySpace was the most visited website in the United States, not the most visited social network, the most visited website, period, more than Google. 2 years later, it was effectively finished, not declining, finished. The speed of the collapse was so complete that business historians are still a little embarrassed on their behalf. This is not a story about being beaten by a better competitor. This is a story about a company that was handed the entire internet and chose, through a remarkable series of decisions, to put it down. The year is 2003. Tom Anderson and Chris DeWolf launch MySpace in Santa Monica, California. It is not the first social network. It is not the most sophisticated. But it is, decisively, the one that catches fire. Within a year, MySpace has over 1 million users. By 2005, it is adding roughly 100,000 new accounts every single day. Musicians, teenagers, filmmakers, comedians, everyone is on MySpace. It is the internet's living room. The platform had a genuine cultural hook. It let users customize their profiles with HTML and CSS. You could change your background, embed music, pick a layout. It was chaotic, often hideous, and completely addictive. Users didn't just visit MySpace. They lived there. By mid-2005, MySpace is the dominant social platform on Earth. Facebook exists, but it is a college network serving roughly 5 million users. MySpace has 20 times that. The competition is not even close. And then comes Rupert Murdoch. News Corporation acquires MySpace's parent company, Intermix Media, in July 2005 for $580 million. At the time, this is treated as visionary. The old media giant reaching into the digital future. The board approved it. Analysts praised it. Murdoch called it the foundation of a global digital media empire. Of course he did. Here is what News Corp actually bought. A company whose founders were already quietly losing interest, a product built on infrastructure that was straining under the weight of its own growth, and a user base that was starting to notice the cracks. The first problem was technical. MySpace's architecture was a mess. Pages loaded slowly. Crashes were frequent. As the user base exploded, the engineering team was perpetually 3 steps behind. Fixing this required serious investment and patience. News Corp had neither. Instead, News Corp's priority was monetization. Fast monetization. In 2006, they signed a 3-year advertising deal with Google worth $900 million, guaranteed revenue in exchange for making Google the exclusive search and advertising provider on MySpace. $900 million. Guaranteed. On paper, this looked like the deal of the century. News Corp had essentially printed money. In practice, they had just built a cage around their own product. To hit the traffic targets required by the Google contract, targets that determine how much of that $900 million MySpace actually collected, the platform needed to keep growing aggressively. So MySpace optimized for raw page views instead of user experience. More ads, more clicks, more everything except quality. The site became slower, noisier, more aggressive with advertising. Users noticed. Engineers inside the company reportedly described the codebase as nearly impossible to update cleanly. New features took months, sometimes longer. Meanwhile, in Cambridge and then Palo Alto, Facebook was doing the opposite: clean interface, fast loading, real identity, no spam. And in 2007, Facebook opened its platform to the general public. Anyone could join, not just college students. MySpace's leadership response was to launch features. Lots of features. A news section, a classified ads section, a virtual world, an IM client, a video player. None of them were good. None of them were finished. They were announcements in search of a product. DeWolf and Anderson were pushed further from meaningful decision-making as News Corp executives with television and newspaper backgrounds attempted to run an internet product company. The results were predictable to anyone who had ever used the internet. By 2008, Facebook overtakes MySpace in global unique visitors. The moment barely registers in the press. It should have registered as a 5-alarm emergency inside News Corp. It did not. In 2009, MySpace still has tens of millions of users. but the trajectory is unmistakable. Every month, the numbers go one direction. An estimated 1 million users are leaving per month by 2010. Not pausing, not reducing usage, leaving. News Corp begins a desperate pivot. They rebrand MySpace as a music and entertainment platform. They fire hundreds of employees. They bring in new leadership. In 2010, they hire Owen Van Natta, then quickly replace him with two co-CEOs. For a company in freefall. The Google deal, which had looked like a windfall in 2006, becomes a millstone. MySpace reportedly falls short of the traffic targets. The guaranteed payout evaporates. News Corp has built its monetization strategy on a number it can no longer reach. In 2011, News Corp sells MySpace to Specific Media Group for $35 million. They paid $580 million 6 years earlier. That is a loss of $545 million on the purchase price alone, before you account for the hundreds of millions spent running and attempting to fix the platform. For context, Facebook would go public the following year at a valuation of approximately $104 billion. MySpace sold for $35 million. The distance between those two numbers is not bad luck. It is a record of decisions. The new owners brought in Justin Timberlake as a creative partner and partial investor. This was reported as a comeback. It was not a comeback. By 2016, MySpace was reporting approximately 50 million monthly users, a shadow figure for a shadow platform, mostly legacy accounts and music uploads that had nowhere else to go. And then, in 2019, MySpace announced that a server migration had caused it to lose approximately 50 million songs uploaded by users between 2003 and 2015. 12 years of music. Gone. They had not backed it up properly. The data was irretrievable. That is not a metaphor. That is a fact. And it is, in a strange way, the perfect ending to this story. So what actually killed MySpace? Not Facebook. Not bad timing. Not the market. 3 decisions destroyed it. The acquisition that placed a television executive culture in charge of an internet product. The ad deal that chained the platform to a traffic number instead of a user experience. And the years of feature sprawl that mistook activity for strategy. The lesson is as old as markets. Distribution is not a moat. MySpace had more users than anyone on Earth in 2006, but users are not loyal to a platform. They are loyal to the experience. The moment the experience degrades, the lead means nothing. It just means more people are available to leave. News Corp bought the future and then ran it like a classified ad section. The future, unsurprisingly, went somewhere else. Next week, the company that invented the smartphone watched Apple launch the iPhone and decided their product was fine. Subscribe for more hidden empires.